Local SEO, specifically how small businesses in Bedford, England can, really stand out online. Our main source today is this super interesting article. It's from Simply Creative Agency.
Yeah, they have some good stuff.
Yeah, so imagine this. You've put your heart and soul into creating this amazing coffee shop, the best coffee shop in Bedford.
What best?
But here's the thing. No one outside of a 5-block radius even knows it exists.
Especially online.
Exactly, online. That's where local SEO comes in, right? And that's exactly what we're going to be, diving into today.
It's a huge problem for so many businesses, especially brick and mortar. I mean, these days, everyone's going online to find, well, everything, coffee shops, plumbers, you name it.
It's true.
If your business doesn't show up in those local searches, you're missing out big time.
Huge opportunity, yeah. So the Simply Creative article starts off with something we hear a lot about, claiming and optimizing your Google business profile. It sounds kind of basic, but they actually make a really good point. It's like setting up your shop window online where everyone in Bedford is walking by.
That's a great analogy.
Right. So, okay, I'm curious about those businesses that are just starting out, right? Like maybe they don't have a ton of reviews yet. What are some other ways that they can, stand out online and get some attention?
Oh, that's a great question. Reviews are super important, don't get me wrong. I mean, they build trust, credibility, all that. But there are definitely other things you can do. Even without a ton of reviews, you can still make that Google business profile pop. Think high-quality photos and videos. That's a good way to grab attention and, keep posting updates, special offers, events,
Yeah.
Keep it fresh, keep it engaging.
Keep it fresh, yeah. Okay, so another thing the article really emphasizes is location-based keywords. They give these examples like affordable web design in Bedford instead of just web design.
Right, be specific.
Makes sense, yeah. But I'm wondering, what are some other maybe more creative ways that businesses can use those keywords, to really stand out in those searches?
One thing that works really well is incorporating those location-based keywords into your website content. I'm talking blog posts, guides about the best things to do in Bedford, or even, team up with other businesses in the area, do some collaborations.
Ooh, I like that. Collaborations. There's so much potential there, right? Create content that benefits everyone.
Definitely. And it goes beyond just the content itself. The article also talks a lot about local backlinks. So that's when other websites in Bedford link to your site.
Backlinks. I gotta be honest, I'm not super familiar with those. Can you break down why they're so important, especially for local SEO?
Sure. So think of it this way. A local backlink is like a vote of confidence from other businesses in your community. So let's say a website like the Bedford Guide or the Bedfordshire Chamber of Commerce links to your website. That tells Google, hey, this business is legit. They're relevant to Bedford. Gives you a boost.
It's like a referral from someone everyone trusts. Okay, that makes sense. So how can businesses, actively get those local backlinks? What can they do?
The article actually recommends reaching out to those other businesses.
Yeah.
For collaborations, guest blogging, maybe doing events together, or even just offering discounts to each other's customers. Stuff like that.
So it's all about building those connections, right? Which makes sense, not just for backlinks, but for growing your business in general.
For sure.
Okay, cool. So moving on, another thing that caught my eye was mobile optimization. They're saying in the article that having a mobile-friendly website is essential, especially for local businesses.
Think about it. When you're looking for something nearby, what do you use? Exactly. Most people do. The majority of local searches happen on mobile devices. So if your website isn't designed for those smaller screens, you're going to lose customers. Simple as that.
It's true. It's we rely on our phones for everything these days, especially when we're out and about. Speaking of mobile users, there's this really interesting suggestion in the article about creating localized content, like writing blog posts about events in Bedford, local news, even those collaborations we talked about. I have to admit, that one seems a little counterintuitive. Why would writing about Bedford events help a business rank higher?
I get it. It might seem strange at first, but it all goes back to what Google wants, right? They want to provide the most relevant search results. So when you're creating content that's hyper-local, Google sees that and thinks, okay, this business is really a part of this community. They're not just trying to rank for any old keyword. They're trying to be a resource for people in Bedford specifically.
So it's about building trust, not just with potential customers, but with Google itself.
Exactly. And it ties back to backlinks too. When you're writing about local events, or collaborating with Bedford businesses, you're creating more opportunities to get those links from other websites in the area.
Right, it's all connected.
Right.
Okay. So local SEO, it's like a whole web of strategies, right? And they all kind of feed into each other.
That's a good way to put it.
All right. Let's get a little more technical. Schema markup. The article really recommends it, but it can sound a little intimidating for people who aren't super tech savvy.
Yeah, I can see that. It really doesn't have to be, though. Think of schema markup like giving Google a detailed map of your business. So instead of Google trying to guess what your website's about, you're basically using this code to tell them, hey, this is what we offer, this is where we are, and this is how to reach us.
So it's like you're speaking Google's language, right? Making it easier for them to understand and categorize your business?
Exactly. And the cool thing is, schema markup can actually make you stand out more in search results.
Yeah.
You know those rich snippets, those eye-catching boxes that show up with maps and contact info and reviews, sometimes even special offers?
Oh yeah, it's like getting prime real estate on the search results page. So I'm curious about the specific types of schema markup. Are there any that are especially helpful for local businesses?
Definitely. The big one is called local business schema. This tells Google all the essentials about your business: your name, address, phone number, website, opening hours, even the types of products or services you offer.
Wow, that's pretty detailed. Is it hard to set up?
It can seem a little daunting, I guess, but there are tools and plugins that make it way easier. Actually, Simply Creative mentions a few on their website, and they even offer schema markup implementation as part of their services, which is,
Smart. They're using the article to show off their expertise.
right. Attract some clients.
It's working. Speaking of showing off their expertise, I gotta say, it's pretty clever how they use the fact that their own article ranks so high to prove their SEO skills. It's like, hey, look, we're at the top, so we must know what we're doing.
Yeah, it's subtle, but it's effective marketing, right?
Yeah.
They're not just telling you they're good at SEO, they're showing you. It's a great example of how, content marketing and SEO can work together.
Yeah, like a perfect blend of information and self-promotion. And speaking of self-promotion, the article ends with a very clear call to action, like contact us for a consultation.
Makes sense. Capitalize on the value they just gave you, right?
Yeah.
They've established themselves as the experts. They built that trust, and now they're making it super easy for anyone who's interested to take the next step.
It's a masterclass in content marketing, really. All right, so let's kind of recap what we've learned from this deep dive into local SEO in Bedford. We've covered a lot, from Google business profiles to the more technical stuff like schema markup. What would you say are the key takeaways for someone who's trying to, improve their own online visibility, especially in Bedford?
The first takeaway, for sure, is that local SEO it's essential if you want local customers to find you. And it's not just about ranking for any keyword. It's about ranking for the keywords that people in Bedford are actually using.
Right, makes sense. What about takeaway number 2?
Local SEO is holistic. It's not just about your website or your Google profile. It's about creating this strong online presence that really shows how involved you are in the community.
So like those local backlinks, localized content, partnering with other businesses in Bedford.
Exactly. It's about becoming a real part of the Bedford community, both online and offline.
I like that. Okay, so we've got essential, we've got holistic. What's number 3?
Number 3 is that local SEO is ongoing. It's not like a one-time thing. You constantly got to be checking your results, adapting to those algorithm changes, and finding new ways to engage with your audience.
It's like taking care of a garden, right? You have to nurture it and prune it and make sure it's getting everything it needs.
Perfect analogy. And just like with a garden, the rewards of local SEO are totally worth the effort. When you do it right, you get more website traffic, more foot traffic, and ultimately more customers.
More customers, that's the goal. So as you're thinking about your own online presence, think about those Bedford-specific details that really resonated with you. Like, what are the unique things about your business or your expertise that you can use to connect with local customers?
It's a good question to ask yourself. How can you use these tactics, right? Whether you're a business owner, a marketer, or just someone who wants to be found online in Bedford.
Yeah, it's about finding those connections, right, between what you're passionate about and what the community needs.
It's really interesting. Even if you're not a business owner, these local SEO ideas can still work for you. Like, imagine you're, an artist or a musician in Bedford. You can use these same tactics to Build a presence online that helps you connect with local venues or other artists or even just fans.
Oh, that's a good point. It's not just about selling something, right? It's about building a community around what you love.
Exactly. And that community can be really powerful, both online and offline. Like Simply Creative, they've obviously built this whole community around local SEO. They're not just offering a service, they're sharing knowledge and helping other people.
Yeah, they're giving back. It's a good example of how local SEO can be about way more than just rankings and algorithms and all that. It's about, real connections, collaboration, building something meaningful in your community.
For sure.
Okay, well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive into local SEO in Bedford. We've gone through a lot of great stuff from that Simply Creative article. I hope you found it as useful as I did.
I did.
Yeah, and as always, remember that the best knowledge is the knowledge you actually use. So think about those Bedford details, the things that really stood out to you. What are some things you can do today to make your online presence, more visible, more engaging, and really connected to that awesome Bedford community?
That's what it's all about.
Keep diving deeper into the stuff that, that sparks your interest, and we'll be here to guide you along the way.